Hey guys, welcome back to another Plan With Me. This week I'm planning from September 11th to the 17th, and I'm using this kit called Summer in Sweden by PinkPlannerShop, and this is a printable kit. You get so much in this kit, and there were just so many beautiful full boxes that I didn't want to leave out, so you will see me once again struggle with a lot of full box hacks that I'm just not very good at, and I am overall happy with how this spread turned out, but there are a couple things I wish I could change. For example, on Tuesday and Wednesday, I wish I had swapped the boxes, which I don't really think would have worked because I needed to use the bigger box on the outside. You can see what I mean right here. But looking back, I sort of wish I had this lakeside little townscape on the outside because I just think it's so beautiful. But every single one of these full boxes is absolutely stunning, and I didn't even use all of them. I tried to use the ones that I considered most cohesive and still had some red because I wanted to use the bonus color with this kit, excuse my head, which is this red color that you will see once I move my big stupid head. I just really liked adding that burnt red orange color, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I included the boxes that had that because a lot of these boxes are very green and blue heavy. I didn't actually go on any hikes or into the wilderness this week. This definitely would have been a great kit to hoard for that reason, but I didn't really have a kit that spoke to me for this week, and so I just decided rather than hoarding this kit, let's just use it. And I did end up going to the Pine Barrens on the weekend, so I was technically in the woods. I didn't actually go hiking, but I was in a wooded area, so that's sort of on theme. And as far as this week went, this was the week, my first week back after my work trip overseas, and it was just go, go, go. I didn't stand up for myself. I don't know how I'm going to work on that. I really need to because I'm just burnt out. But I got back from my trip at around 7 p.m. on Sunday, and it was right back to work on Monday, and then back into the office on Tuesday. And it was just too much for me. It really was. You'll see I pretty much cried every single day until the weekend. And this was also the first week where my company was moving from a remote / 1 day a week in office system to mandatory 3 days in office, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And as many of you know, I never would have taken this job if I knew that that was the case, because this isn't even in the industry that I would like to be in. So all in all, right now, other than the fact that my job is very nice and I work for a small company and don't have to dress up to go to work, this is just not the ideal situation for me. So this week was just so hard. I really wish I had asked to work remote this week after the trip, or had taken Tuesday off or something like that, but I didn't. I'm too much of a wuss to stand up for myself. So that was definitely a mistake. Monday through Thursday was just really rough for me. It was not a good time. I was really struggling. There was no part of my life that was going right. And then on top of that, our only toilet broke in the apartment. So it was usable, but it was one of those things where it needed to be fixed or it would eventually not be, if you know what I mean. And I was just on stimulation overload. I just wanted to clean my apartment. If you remember from my last Plan With Me, I came home to a bit of a mess. I just wanted my space to be clean, and I didn't want workers or my landlord in my space. And also, before I left for my trip, if you saw that Plan With Me, you'll remember that my upstairs neighbor's AC unit was leaking into our apartment. So I've basically had workers in my space for 3 weeks in a very short span of time, and it was just way too much for me. So all that to say, this was just a really, really, really hard week for me, and I was not doing well, like at all. I was not doing well. Fortunately, the weekend did turn everything around. I had a really good weekend, and I really, really needed it. I went to see my grandmother and had just an easy dinner with my uncle, my grandmother, and my uncle's partner. And we just ordered Italian food in, so we didn't have to like go out, which was nice. And then I went to my best friend's mother's house for the rest of the weekend. So I went there Friday night, and I came on the best day because my best friend's aunt had rescued a 3 to 4 week, she weighed less than a pound, okay? She weighed 8 ounces, I believe. She rescued a kitten from a busy road. And I was so excited because when I got there, I was able to help with her second flea bath. And because I was only there for a couple nights and everybody else was going to get to be with the kitten for a long time, they let me do the fun part, which is just holding her in the towel while she gets brushed and then drying her off. So that was really nice. And it was just exactly what I needed. There is no cure for depression like holding a teeny tiny baby kitten as it falls asleep in your arms. It was just exactly what I needed. And then Saturday, we had plans to go to Great Adventure for Fright Fest, but it was so busy that we ended up just having like a really just a nice day. We went out to eat, we walked the dog, and then we built the cat a little house, and then just watched a movie as the cat slept in my collarbone. So that was pretty much exactly what I needed. And then Sunday, I made the decision to leave very early in the morning so that I could get home and have like a full day to prep my lunch, do grocery shopping, and just like enjoy my time, do some planning, do a puzzle, like just have a really nice day. So even though my week was absolute shit, nothing was going right. Like Joe and I were arguing, like we were just not, I was having the worst week ever. I had such a good weekend. So that made up for most of it. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say, I don't think. If you have any questions for me, leave them down below. I don't know. I'm really trying to catch up on Plan With Me's, but it's just not going well. I'm really, really busy, and I'm still really struggling to get used to losing those hours that I used to have to myself before the extra 2 days in office. It really makes a difference. Like, you wouldn't think that going from 1 to 3 days would ruin your life this much, but it really has, because I'm going to sleep so much earlier than I was, like 2 hours earlier, and I'm getting home an hour later, and I'm also no longer able to like work out on my breaks and stuff, and I can't do the litter or sweep on my break either, so now that's like all stuff I have to do when I get home, and it's just really, really eating up my time. Now, you'll see that I am currently gluing some full boxes back together. I've mentioned this a million times. This paper is so bad for stickers because it's so sticky. It's terrible. So again, I beg of you, if you have any good recommendations for sticker paper, preferably glossy or semi-gloss, to print your own kits on, please let me know, because I am in desperate need. I can't keep going with this paper. I did just run out and ordered a new brand, but I have no idea if it's going to be any good. I honestly just took whatever Amazon was recommending, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good, because Amazon is Amazon. So please, if you have any recommendations, please leave them below. Anyway, moving on to the day by day, starting with Monday. As always, the first thing I marked was that I was up at 7 a.m., and by that, I mean I got out of bed at 7 a.m. I had been up since about 4:30 because once again, the jet lag was real, and I just used a clock from the kit to mark that. Under that, I used this crying munchkin to mark that I burst into tears first thing that morning, just very emotionally overwhelmed and not ready to get back to this job I can't stand. Under that, I used this little munchkin. I believe it's actually a frustrated munchkin. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. I used this Apple Blossom Monsterz Co laptop to mark that I worked from Joe's place, because if you remember, my apartment was messy and I did not want to stay there Sunday night. So I worked from his place rather than driving home. And under that, with this little frustrated munchkin, I used it to mark my ear getting worse. Joe did go out and get me some distilled water so that I could add my sea salt and do sea salt soaks. So after this day, it did start getting better. It actually got better really, really quickly, which I'm relieved about, but also I'm kind of annoyed that I have 2 jugs of, one completely unused, of distilled water with sea salt in it. I don't know what to do with that, and I don't need it anymore, but I definitely needed it this day because I was in a lot of pain. Then I went home and I prepped for the office, and I used this little munchkin holding a paper bag to mark that. I used this old, I can't remember what shop makes these kits, but this paw print is just from an old kit that I saved, and I just used it to mark cat care. Then under that, I marked with this Sticky Perks pizza slice that Joe and I decided to try pizza from this new place that opened because they were having buy one, get one free personal pizzas, and it was really bad. It was really, really bad. I didn't even take the rest of mine home to eat on Tuesday. It was just disgusting. Then with the Sticky Perks remote control, I marked that we watched the challenge, and then the last thing on Monday, I used this screaming child to mark that I cried again. I just really didn't want to go in the office next day, so I cried. Moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked that, once again, because of insomnia, I was up at 5:30 in the morning, and so I just went and sat on the couch for a while until it was time for me to walk to work. But my body was just so weak from being sleep deprived, and the walk from Joe's is about 45 minutes to my office, and doing that walk with a laptop, my body was just saying no. So I decided to take the bus. So I went out to the bus stop quite early because if you remember, the bus sometimes comes early and leaves you, and you get no warning on the app or on Google Maps. Sorry about the sirens. So I did go out 10 minutes early, and I was watching the bus approach on Google Maps, and then the bus came from a different direction, went to the opposite side of the street, so to the corner, catty corner from me standing at the bus stop, and drove away without me. So I used this whoa munchkin to mark that the bus left me. And I instantly, of course, burst into tears. I was so tired. My body hurt so much. I was hyperventilating. I was so upset that this stupid bus left me. And then at that point, the next bus wasn't coming for 20 minutes, which means that was 20 minutes longer to have to stay at the office to make up that time. But also, I didn't want to wait for the next bus because I had no idea where it was going to come from or where it was going to stop. And I just can't handle that. And once again, at this point, if I walked 45 minutes to the office, I wouldn't get to start until close to 9 a.m. and then I'd be stuck at the office until 6 p.m. and I just really didn't want to do that. So anyway, I was in my feelings. I used an in my feelings munchkin to mark that, and I made the executive decision to drive myself to work and just pay the parking because at that point it was more important to me to get out of work by 5 p.m. than $23 was to me. So I paid the ridiculous parking fee and just drove myself. This money icon is from, I believe, an Apple Blossom Monsterz Co variety sheet. Then with another munchkin, I marked try not to cry at work. I was tears were welling up. My nose was like running. My face was red and blotchy. And my boss walked in. Like, she could definitely tell I had been crying, but I was trying really, really hard to like keep it together. I was really upset. Then after work, I went home and just immediately started deep cleaning my apartment, specifically the bathroom. It was covered in cat hair. The bath mats needed to be washed. The toilet needed to be cleaned. So I scrubbed my toilet inside and out. I also did like dishes and like vacuumed my apartment. Like, I cleaned the whole place, but really, really wanted just a nice clean bathroom. I used this little toilet from SPC to mark that. I then used a vacuum, again, left over from a kit, to mark vacuuming. But like I said, I did do some other cleaning as well. I just didn't have space for it. I also had tons of laundry after my trip, and I needed to get that done. So I used this laundry emoji and a script from the kit to mark that. And then the final thing, just a huge slap to the face after deep cleaning my bathroom and my toilet. The toilet started making a really loud hissing noise, and it wouldn't stop. And at first I thought like maybe I was just cleaning it too aggressively and I like knocked something in the back of the toilet. So I checked, and no, I looked it up, and either the fill valve needed to be cleaned or replaced, and I was not about to do that myself because I don't want to pay for parts. So yeah, I was devastated. I was like, great. I'm going to have workers and my landlord walking with their nasty shoes all over my apartment. I'm going to have to clean everything all over again. So that sucked because I was already really tired. That was like the last thing I needed that night. Moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked with this tired munchkin was that I was up too early once again. I was not getting used to Eastern Standard Time. I was so jet lagged. I couldn't sleep past 5 a.m. So because I got up out of bed at like 6. I just gave up on sleeping by then. I had some extra time, and with this Pumpkin Paper Co Terra, I marked that I used a little bit of the extra time to get ready. I have been going into the office just looking like a troll and a half because I need the sleep. I can't wake up at 6 a.m. just so that other people will think I look nice. It's too hard. So, but this morning I was up, so I did it. Under that, with this little scale that I've just had left over from a kit, I marked that my pants were fitting a little bit better this day, and I honestly think it was because I got so sick on my trip, and like I skipped dinner on Sunday because I was so tired after the like plane ride and everything that I fell asleep without eating dinner, which is not healthy, but you know, sleep was more important in that moment. But yeah, I think all of my stomach trouble on my trip flattened things out temporarily, but it was still a nice feeling to like feel my pants, you know, not being super snug. So I wanted to mark that just because. And then with this cell phone deco, I marked that I had to text my landlord about the toilet, and I was dreading it because we had just had him like pay for all these workers to fix the stuff in the laundry room after the first initial flood. So of course I was anxious, but I knew it needed to be done because everything online was like, if you don't get this fixed, your toilet will break. And we only have one toilet, so I couldn't have that. And it's just me here right now while my roommate is staying with her mom and stepdad. So I had to just take care of it. I then walked to work and used a little munchkin with a backpack to mark that. Then the final thing I marked on Wednesday with this gassy munchkin was that I was super, super gassy. What else is new? But it was like really bad this night. I'm not gonna lie. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked with this munchkin and a cat at a laptop, at least I got to work from home. If one good thing came from this toilet breaking, it was that I got to work from home on Thursday instead of going into the office. So I only had to do 2 days in office this week instead of 3. And it was nice to have Thursday as my day home so that it felt like, I don't know, I just prefer getting all of my work in office done at the beginning of the week, which is unfortunately no longer an option. But it was today, so that was cool. My landlord first tried to fix it himself, and he could not. So I just used this rolling eye munchkin to mark that. Then the plumber came, and he was just such an angel. He ended up fixing an additional thing for free, and he actually, like, paid for the part himself. And, like, he actually went to the hardware store, bought it. It was the wrong size, returned it, came back. Like, he really helped me out because he saw I was so upset. basically he left and then came back because he forgot something. And when he walked in, I was about to start crying again. And he was like, I'm just going to fix it for you. We don't have to tell your landlord. And he went out and bought the part. It was like, finally something good happened. So I used a little mechanic munchkin for that. Then with an icon from, I think the kit or just like a random kit, I marked that I had to clock out early because I needed to take Joe to the airport and he wanted to leave by 5. I used this middle finger munchkin to mark that Joe was late. And that really annoyed me because I started work early to make up the 20 minutes that I had to, miss in the afternoon. I left at 4:40, so I had to start 20 minutes early, and I just thought that was really obnoxious that he was not ready at 5. So yeah, little middle finger to that because I was very tired. With this random SPC airplane icon, I marked that we got to the airport and it was a total shit show because guess what? Driving to the airport at 5:15 out of Philadelphia on a Thursday, it's about as pleasant as you can imagine. After I dropped him off, I got stuck in essentially standstill traffic. The drive to my apartment from the airport is about 20 minutes, but because of the traffic, it took, I want to say like an hour and a half. I definitely did not get home until 7:30. Like I wasn't in a parking spot until 7:30. And I used a zombie munchkin for that. With this overwhelmed total meltdown munchkin, I marked that I cried again. And because I was such a mess and I really needed to talk to somebody, I called a friend and I used this Sticky Perks cell phone to mark that. Moving on to Friday, the first thing I marked was that I took a morning shower because I knew I was going to be staying at my friend's mother's house and I just prefer to shower at home. So even though I'm a night showerer, I took care of that in the morning before work. Then with this little today's to-do munchkin, once more with love sticker, I marked that it was my shorter day. I think I left at 3 this day. Yeah. With an icon or with this deco from the kit, I just marked that I had a few errands to run on my way to see my grandmother. Then with this pasta emoji, I marked dinner with my uncle, his partner, and my grandmother, and I got baked ziti, which was just delicious. Baked ziti and garlic knots. It was everything I needed. And then because I was in New Jersey and hate pumping my own gas, it's also like 30 to 50 cents cheaper per gallon in New Jersey. So I got gas, and this is a random piece of deco from a random sheet I've had since the dawn of planner time. With a half box and this munchkin cuddling a cat, I marked that I got to meet the rescue kitten and help give it a flea bath, and it was just so lovely. I actually helped with the second flea bath on Saturday. I got there too late to help with the first one, but I just marked it all on the same day. And then the final thing on Friday, I marked with this laughing munchkin. Finally got to use a happy sticker that my best friend and I were just gossiping and talking shit and giggling together. Moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked with this alarm clock from Sticky Perks was that I was up so early because I decided that I was finally going to get a new tire for my car. Some of you may know it has been an issue. I'm filling it every other day. And so I made an appointment at Pep Boys for 11 a.m. to get my tire replaced. And it was kind of far from their house. It was a 30-minute drive. So I got up pretty early, got ready for that. And then I marked fuck Pep Boys with this not today fuckers munchkin because I get there half an hour early. I go to sign in and the guy goes, someone's going to pick you up, right? And I'm like, no, I'm waiting for it. And he's like, well, there's 32 cars in front of you, so it's not going to be done till 4 p.m. So yeah, it's going to be a million-hour wait. And he was so rude about it too. And I was just thinking in my head, fuck you, because if there are 32 cars, I know for a fact that these are leftovers from the last few days. You should not have available appointments when you have overflow from the last few days. There is no way in hell that these 32 cars are from today because you only have appointments starting at 8 a.m. It's now 10:30. The most that could be in front of me is 5 to 6 cars. So that just pissed me right the fuck off. What the hell is the point of the appointment if you're just going to let walk-ins come and bump me out of line? So I said, cancel it. So anyway, my tire is still fucked. So fuck Pep Boys. I didn't let it ruin my day though, which I'm very proud of myself for because normally I would. So I went to Dollar Tree and went to Target and just like ran a couple little more fun errands, and I used an icon from a kit to mark that with another, or deco, with another piece of functional deco. I marked that I went to Applebee's with my best friend, her little brother, and her cousin. And then after that, with this ice cream sticker from Piper Paper Plans, which I don't think they're a shop anymore, unfortunately. I tried to go see if I could order more and they're gone. But anyway, we went to Dairy Queen and I just got a small cone and split it with my friend. With a paw print from a random Michael's sticker sheet, I marked that we walked their dog just to sort of help us digest. Then we took a bunch of boxes that we got for free at the dollar store to go build a tiny, tiny little kitten house for the new baby kitten. Baby kitten, that's redundant, but anyway. And then we all watched Urban Legend together, and I marked, the boxes from Sticky Perks, and then just a munchkin watching a scary movie. And then the final thing I marked on Saturday with this little Papershire cat, I just marked kitten cuddles. Finally, moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked with this happy munchkin is that I figured out how to change my own windshield wiper. And I know that seems sad, but like the type of wiper I need to buy has these weird attachments. And even Joe has struggled to put one of them on his friend's car. So I was so happy that I figured it out so quickly on my own and that I bought the right wiper, because I also went to purchase this wiper by myself and I have no idea what I'm doing. Then under that, with this Aldi bag from Sticky Perks, I marked that I stopped at Aldi to get my essentials, my produce, my eggs, all that good stuff. With this random gas station sticker, I marked once again that I got gas because we had just used so much of my gas on Saturday since my best friend's car was stolen. The only option was to take my car. So I was already down to like half a tank. It just made sense to get the cheaper gas before leaving New Jersey. So I filled up again, and then I treated myself to Wegmans because I was passing a Wegmans, and I just got a couple things. I got some pasta sauce that they sell that I really like, and I got myself some sushi and like some cold cuts, I think. And it was just so nice to be in like a Wegmans. I love Wegmans. And this is just another sticker from the kit. Under that, with this Piper Paper Plans puzzle, I marked that I worked on my puzzle, which is always my favorite thing to do when I have a day to myself. And then with this munchkin covered in mosquito bites, I marked that my ankles were covered in bites, absolutely covered. I was standing outside on Friday after dinner talking to my uncle and his partner just for like 10 minutes, and I had like 7 bug bites on my ankles. It was awful. I was completely covered everywhere else, so I guess that's the only place they could get. And then I marked with this little Sticky Perks like HBO Max TV that I watched, and just like that. While I watched the show, I ate my sushi that I had gotten at Wegmans, so I used a little Once More with Love munchkin eating sushi for that. Then with a script from the kit, and I think this planner is also from the kit, I marked that I got to do some planning. I finally had some time for that. Then in bed, I watched the movie Havoc with Anne Hathaway. Pretty bad. It's a pretty bad movie, but I thought maybe I'd like it. It was entertaining. I will say that. Definitely not like the best movie I've ever seen. And I used this tiny little TV sticker from, I believe, also Piper Paper Plans for that. And the final thing on Sunday with this Fox and Pip girl, I marked that I went to bed earlier than I normally do on Sundays, which was nice. I still maybe didn't get enough sleep, but I was in bed at like an appropriate time. And yeah, that felt good. So anyway, that is everything for this week. Let me know your thoughts on all of these half box hacks, full box hacks, whatever. And yeah, I guess that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.